everyone, welcome back to Camille's Cozy Chronicles. Today we are talking about my March wrap up. I read 25 books in March, and most of them were rom coms. So we have quite a few books to talk about, but also since most of them were rom coms, we don't have a lot of content to discuss. So hopefully this won't take us too long. We'll start with The Retreat by Hailey Gardiner. I gave this book 4 stars. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. This book is about Luke and Lainey, and they are next door neighbors whose meet cute isn't so cute. A prank war starts as their annoyance with each other escalates, and when they learn that they both work for the same company, Lainey as the company event planner and Luke as the future CEO, tension rises. But their rivalry could be turning into something more when Luke weasels himself into accompanying Lainey on the trial run of the company retreat she's planning. Just as a note, I wrote out a little blurb description of the book so that to keep myself from rambling. So if in case you guys are wondering why I'm looking over here, I have all of my little script on my computer, so that's why I'm looking over here. I really liked this book. It was really, really good. Luke and Lainey had great chemistry, and I really loved how they started out as rivals and then reluctant friends before their romance took place. Their pranks were funny, but they were never like, oh my gosh, that was like so unhealthy and like mean. Ugh, I've read books like that, and yeah, it's not great. There were a few unfinished curse words in this book, which I wasn't a fan of. Like, they didn't say it all the way, but like they started to say it, and I was like, that was unnecessary. And then there was also some innuendo. But for the most part, this was pretty enjoyable. It was fun. It was clean. I really liked it. I have the other 2 books in the series. Hopefully, read them soon. It was really fun. The cover's super cute, and it's pink, so that's also fun. Okay, the next book we're going to talk about is The Perfect Putt by Annah Conwell. I don't have a copy of this book yet, but I'm planning on getting it because Annah Conwell has cemented herself as one of my favorite rom-com authors. I gave it 5 stars. It's available on KU. I listened to this as an audiobook. Actually, my husband and I listened to this together. And it is book 2 in the More Than a Game series. And the reason that I read book 2 before book 1 was I was looking for an audiobook to listen to on my library app, and I saw this one and I didn't realize it was number 2. And I listened to it and I was like, oh wait, this is number 2. And they don't carry over. Every book is about a different couple. So that was okay. But that's why. One thing I really love about Anna Conwell's books, all of the ones that I've read, is she has a content warning at the very beginning of her book, and it just says this is a rom-com. There is like heavy like makeout sessions in this book, just kind of letting people know about the romance content. If stuff like descriptive kissing bothers you, you probably don't want to read Anna Conwell because most of her books have that, but they're not inappropriate. And then there's also sometimes some other content warnings like grief or abusive parents, or like not abusive but like emotionally abusive parents and stuff like that. The little blurb I wrote for this book: Ellie hates golf, and she hates golfers even more. But to fulfill her dream of owning her own flower shop, she's going to have to put aside her prejudice and accept the assistant position that is offered to her. The last thing that Miles wants is a relationship after watching his parents' disastrous marriage, but his new assistant is testing his resolve. With the upcoming Masters, will Miles allow Ellie in, or will he break both of their hearts? So this was super, 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 super cute. I don't like golf. Guys, I don't like golf at all. But Ellie and Miles made me want to like golf. And it was just so fun. And my favorite thing was how Miles' character arc changed over the course of the story, and by the end of the book he was like a completely different person, and he like grew so much, which was so good. I love it when characters grow. We love it when characters grow. I also really loved Ellie's point of view, and her sister and her friend were so much fun. They just added so much lighthearted dialogue to the story. The romance in the story and the comedic dialogue made for a perfect rom-com to binge listen to. I really appreciated how it was clean, and they didn't spend too long being enemies, because at the beginning they are kind of like, she's like, ooh, I hate golf, and golfers are so arrogant, and he's like, ooh, bleh, and they just annoy each other. But they didn't spend too long like that, so that was good. And the romance was really swoony without any of the spice, and their banter and flirting was so good. The next book is The Golden Goal by Anna Conwell. I also gave this book 5 stars, and this is book 1 in the More Than a Game series, so this comes before The Perfect Putt. Technically, I kind of read them simultaneously because while I was listening to The Perfect Putt, like halfway through, I started listening to The Golden Goal. So kind of read them simultaneously. This is a hockey romance. And I realized that I really like hockey romance. There's like at least one other there's at least two other hockey romances in this list. Okay, so my little description. Shaw has been in love with Sutton ever since they were kids, but their rivalry and teasing has made her hate him even more than ever. When Sutton gets a job as the physical therapist for Shaw's pro hockey team, he realizes that it's now or never to win her heart. But can Sutton put aside her rivalry with Shaw long enough to see him as more than her brother's annoying best friend? Okay, guys, this is hockey romance. Friends to lovers, kind of, because they're childhood friends to lovers, but also he is her brother's best friend. We love those tropes. We love all of them. This was a super sweet read. I really adored every part of this book. If there was ever any doubt that he falls first, trope is one of the cutest tropes ever. This book proves them all wrong because he's been in love with her for like years, and it's just the cutest thing. I really liked Shaw and Sutton both. Their constant need for competition and like one-upping each other and like proving each other wrong. It could have been annoying, but it was like done so well that it wasn't like too bad. Anna Conwell wrote it so that we caught a glimpse of their history, like their past together, so that was really cool. Shaw takes such good care of her. I just wanted to melt into a puddle because it was so sweet. I literally have like the melting emoji on my little script. A note about the romantic content. Towards the end, there are a couple steamy makeouts, but they still stay in the very much closed door range. Nothing ever happens besides making out. Also, throughout the book, the couple is very attracted to each other, but I was never uncomfortable, and I felt that those topics were handled tactfully. That pretty much is a description of every Anna Conwell book on this list. The next book is The Cross-Check Crush by Dulce Dameron, 5 stars, available on Kindle Unlimited. This is book 2 in the multi-author series Dating a Denver Dragon. Hockey romance. I could not figure out how to write a summary for this book because I kind of just read it for entertainment and that's pretty much it. And didn't really know how to sum it up, so I just have the blurb. This is one crush she's willing to bet on. Reality star sweetheart Freya Danielson is no stranger to living under a microscope, but not even her fans know about her secret crush on hockey's hottest bad boy. I hate those hottest bad boy. Oh, ugh, cringe. Anyways, Bridger Barrows. Bridger's grumpy persona might be off-putting to some, but Freya sees past the bluster to who he is underneath. Sweet, shy, and considerate. And woefully oblivious to how deep Freya's feelings run. Bridger can't catch a break. If it's not his brother's constant passive-aggressive comparison bringing on a headache, it's his teammates ragging about his aversion to dating. But when everything comes to a head after a frustrating phone call, Bridger finds himself in need of a fiancé. Fast. When Bridger finds out the owner of his social media fan page is none other than the country's most beloved good girl, he proposes they strike a deal. If she'll pretend to be his fiancée at his family's Thanksgiving get-together, he'll help her monetize her fan page by giving her an insider scoop into what it's like to be a dragon. There's just one catch. For Freya, nothing with Bridger is pretend, and she's secretly hoping that by the time their holiday weekend is over, Bridger has caught feelings for her too. Putting it all on the line for a self-proclaimed bachelor is scary, but Freya's determined to win Bridger's heart, or get crushed trying. Okay. I liked this book. It was cute. The premise and the whole thing, he kind of like lies to his family, and I'm not a huge fan of that because lying is an issue. Not okay, but I'll put up with it. It was cute. I didn't really spend too much time thinking about it. I was just reading it for entertainment. It was sweet and cute. I don't have too many thoughts about it, but I recommend it for fans of clean hockey romance. And it had a smidge, like that much, faith content. Okay, moving on. I don't want to talk about this book. Bound by Wishes by Jessica Spruill? Spruill? I don't know. I DNF'd this. It is available on KU. If you guys think this sounds interesting, this was an ARC read that I signed up for because it was marketed as No Spice Fantasy Aladdin Meets the Mummy. like the Mummy movie, and I've never seen the Mummy, and maybe if I would have watched the movie I would have been like, ooh, no, I don't want to read this book. But it was Aladdin, and I was like, it's like a gender flipped Aladdin, and I was like, I love Aladdin. I should have known when some of the authors' marketing included the genie with very shirtless and very defined muscles. Ugh, I don't go for that. I don't go for that. So I'll just read my thoughts so I don't go on and on, because I probably will if I don't. That's what the script is for. This book was marketed as a no-spice fantasy Aladdin meets the Mummy with a morally gray genie and a slow burn romance. It is a new adult fantasy. It's about Kalina, an archaeologist who stumbles upon a very dangerous, very handsome genie, and his name is Rainan. He transforms Kalina into a princess so that he can take his throne back from his brother who turned him into a genie. I just have to preface this by saying I'm never going to read another book with morally gray characters ever again, if I could help it, unless it's like by an author that I really like, because I have read a couple this year and I am just not a fan because they're just terrible. They're morally gray, and I don't really want to read about people like that. Okay, I wanted to like this book. I really did, and I was really, really excited for it. I think I got a little over halfway through when I DNF'd it. I'm realizing that I really despise morally gray men. To me, it is not exciting or swoony when the male main character threatens the female main character or makes fun of her or anything else like that. It's not attractive. It's not cute. It's not funny. And it's not funny or cute or swoony when he's possessive. We don't like possessive. That's toxic. That's toxic, and I don't like it. Another thing that I disliked was that Rainan describes his magic as dark magic, and that was very unsettling to me. When a character who is supposed to be good uses dark magic, that gives me a ton of red flags. And that was like in the very beginning, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just keep reading and see, but that was immediately a red flag. All of the parts that were supposed to be romantic just felt problematic because of Rainan and his personality, and he's just using her. Only reason she's attracted to him is because of his muscles. Guess. I really liked Kalina, and I felt that she deserved so much better than Rainan. I have also decided that I despise the touch her and die trope unless it is done very well, and Rainan was just very violent, and all that he really cared about was taking revenge on his brother, and Kalina was just a means to that end. I did not finish this book. I don't know how it ends. I know it's a series. I know it ends on a cliffhanger. I didn't finish the book, but I was over halfway through it, and I was just like, he's still not being nice to her. And he's attracted to her, but he's still mad about it, and he's still using her. And I just didn't like him, and I just didn't feel like reading it. When I read, I want the male main character to be honorable and protect the female main character, not use her and then fall in love with her while he is manipulating her. I really have no wish to continue this book. It could turn out better, but honestly, I just felt like the Holy Spirit was prompting me not to continue reading the book, which is why I ultimately put it down. That's why. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, I get this feeling, and I should not be reading this. That's the feeling that I get. And when that does happen, I usually try to put the book down. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, I try to listen to the Holy Spirit, because we all know that, yeah. Anyways, that's not to say that is all my opinion. I was given an arc to give my opinion. I didn't write a review on Goodreads. I didn't write a review on my Instagram account because I don't feel like it's necessary to write negative reviews about books, but it's on here. I wouldn't finish it. And I don't know. I'm probably just hypersensitive to stuff like that, and that's just my opinion. And if that sounds like an intriguing book to you guys, I would say pray about it, use your own judgment. Don't take my opinion as the law, because it's not. It's just an opinion. Everybody has their own convictions. Moving on to The Run Option by Annah Conwell. I gave this book 5 stars. It's on Kindle Unlimited. This is book 3 in the More Than a Game series. This is the best one. This was hands down the best one. You guys know why. Marriage of Convenience. That's what this book is. That's my favorite trope. I'm always going to say those are the best. That's just how it is. Willow loves managing the social media page of her favorite professional football team. The only thing that she hates is the annoyingly handsome quarterback Jason Kingsley. But when an unforeseen crisis strikes, Jason is the only one who can help. But a marriage of convenience with Jason means being close to the guy she can't stand. Forced proximity, marriage of convenience, he's a football player, all the things. And he's also the sweetest guy ever. Like, he's the sweetest. He's so sweet to her. I binged this book in one sitting, and after reading the other two books in the series, I was more than ready for Jason's story, and I was not disappointed by any means. My favorite thing about this book was how Jason kept leaving Willow little gifts, trying to convince her that he wasn't the playboy jerk that she thought he was. Because she thought he's a jerk because he used to be like a playboy, like football player, whatever, but he's changed. He's different. He's trying to convince her that he's different. So he leaves her little gifts in her desk, in her like on her desk, like in the office. It's just so cute. He just leaves her little stuff everywhere. One note. This is a marriage of convenience novel, and as such, there is a fade to black / closed door scene. It is very vague, has little to no lead up, and is still very clean. Okay, the next book is The Trauma Response by MJ Padgett. I gave this book 5 stars. It's on Kindle Unlimited. This is the second book in the Give a Bookish Girl a Biker series. Woo! I didn't stutter over that series title. You guys, that series title is such a tongue twister. I think it's just because it's so long. This cover, if you can see it, it's really cute. It's so much fun. I can't wait to own a physical copy of this book. Kai is a firefighter who is used to running into situations where most other people are running out. So when he's called to a car accident, it's just another normal day until he realizes that the woman in the vehicle is his childhood best friend, Tallulah. While he rescues her from the vehicle, his old feelings for her flame to life once again. Tallulah is a trauma surgeon and absolutely loves her job, so when her car accident renders her unable to return to her career, she begins to spiral into depression. Enter her brother, who is concerned and asks Kai to help her regain her love for life, because he was always able to help her through hard things when they were kids. There are potential triggers in this book for someone who's been in a car accident. As someone who has been in a kind of traumatic car accident, I would say it wasn't too bad. But I also knew it was coming. Like, it happens like in the very first chapter, and if you read the back, you know it's coming. But Kai and the way he took care of Tallulah, it was the sweetest thing. He just took such good care of her, and the way he encouraged her and held her up, like, while she was grieving her like change in circumstances. It was just really great. I really resonated with Tulip. That's her little nickname in the book. And her journey when her life didn't pan out the way she thought it would or how it planned. I felt very connected with her, and especially her anger with God, and I loved how she had to work through that. The faith content was simple and well done, and my favorite thing was how Kai prayed for her and how Tulip prayed as well. I love when characters pray for each other in the books. It's just the sweetest thing. Okay, My Lucky Charm by Courtney Walsh. I gave this book 5 stars. Most of these have 5 stars. It's on KU. It's the second book in the Holidays with Heart series. In my last recent reads, I talked about the My Phony Valentine, and this is the second one. Eloise Hart is not the type of person to kiss a stranger on New Year's Eve, until her toxic ex shows up with a woman that he cheated on her with. She sees a broody stranger sitting at the bar and asks him to help her out of the embarrassing situation, which he does with a very memorable and swoony kiss. Fast forward a few months, and Eloise is thrilled when a job opportunity opens up. The drawback? She is now the personal assistant to Grayson Hawk, the cranky new addition to the professional hockey team, and the mysterious stranger that she kissed on New Year's Eve. The more time she spends with the gruff, reclusive hockey player, she realizes that there is much more to him than meets the eye. Okay, guys, Courtney Walsh can write such a cute romance, and it has the cutest moments, and it also has the most deep, emotional stuff in it. For somehow, she does. Like always, there are some comments that I'm just like, that wasn't necessary. That wasn't necessary. I didn't really care for that, but overall, 5 stars. It was so cute. And it was actually cleaner than My Phony Valentine. So if you guys were worried about that, I seriously had like hard eyes while I listened to this book because I listened to it as an audiobook. Gray was so kind, even when he was cranky, and let's be honest, his gruff exterior was totally warranted once we knew why He was so mad about being traded. It just was. Eloise was the sweetest person ever. She was really relatable and so good for Gray, bringing out his happier side. I loved the sister moments in this book. And if you add in the deeper moments that almost had me bawling, you have a heartfelt rom-com with a deeper thread of family. It's so good. I just love it. Go read it. Go listen to it. The audiobook actually was really good. Man, we are clicking right through these. I really like this script. This is great. Okay, next up we have The Serendipity by Emma St. Clair. I gave this book 5 stars. This is available on Kindle Unlimited. This is the first book in the Only Magic in the Building multi-author series, but each book is a standalone. And the description: what do a magical apartment building, a cranky executive, and a sunshine sugar cookie baker have in common? The serendipity. Archer is a billionaire who needs a break from the scandal his father has caused in New York, so he purchases a quaint apartment building in Serendipity Springs. He doesn't believe the rumors about the magical apartment building, but after a strange woman shows up in his closet, he starts second guessing his choices. His life choices, like all of his choices. Willa also never believed the rumors about her apartment building, but after walking into her closet and then ending up in a strange guy's closet, who is pretty attractive, not gonna lie, she starts to think they might be true. When Archer starts making hefty changes to policies in the apartment building, Willa's fledgling cookie company is put at risk, but the two begin to suspect that they are the building's next target at magical matchmaking. You guys, this series is so fun. It's so fun. I so enjoy it. When I saw this series announced, I knew that I would be reading them like ASAP, like as they came out. Never have I ever giggled so much while reading a book, you guys. Like, seriously, it was like the best thing ever. Like, so funny. I was laughing out loud at least every other chapter, and there was just quite a few like scenarios that were just like the most hilarious thing ever. Willa and Archer won over my heart with fun banter, meaningful relationships, and relatable struggles. There's just so much heart in this little series, in this little book. It's so cute. If you're unsure about the premise of a magical building matchmaking its inhabitants, don't worry. It's very much worth your time because the building is the matchmaker. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. You guys, it just is. Okay, I finally have another book to hold up. This isn't going to happen. I only have like 7 books, physical books to hold up in this video. The next book, Darkfell by Amanda Wright. I gave this book 5 stars. It's so good. I don't know. You can't see all my tabs because they're kind of hard to see, but I have lots of tabs. Thom is happy with his life as a royal cartographer, but when he ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time, he inherits special powers and learns that he is the only one who could save the world. That's pretty much it. It's just a short little premise. It's really good premise. But basically he just ends up wrong place, wrong time. He gets these magical powers that he didn't even know existed, and he has to save the world. And basically he's like, who, me? I don't want to save the world. It's like he's like the chosen one, but he's very reluctant about it, and it's really funny. This book took me on a journey, but when I started it, I let many other books distract me because, let's be honest, did you see all the KU books that I've had in this video so far? We're not even halfway through. But it's fine. Once I picked it back up, though, I couldn't put it down until I finished it. I loved the witty characters, particularly Puck, which is like Thom's adopted brother, and adored the themes of courage and God's plan for our lives, even when we are particularly unwilling. This story stayed with me long after I finished it. I still think about this. And it's been almost 2 months since I read it. I still think about this book. Like a lot. It's just that good. Okay, the next book is The Love Audit by, you guessed it, Annah Conwell. You guys, new favorite rom-com author. I gave this book 4 stars. It's available on KU. I listened to this as an audiobook. It is book 1 in the Sweet Peach series. Just such a fun series. This book is about Charlotte, and when she is assigned to audit the project that Callum is working on, their workplace rivalry takes on a whole new level of intensity. But soon their heated exchanges begin to lean more towards attraction, and Callum must decide whether he will allow the walls around his heart to be breached by Charlotte's sunny demeanor. Enemies to lovers, workplace romance is the tropes. I really love the dynamics of the friend group in this story. I love the friend group. I just love it. It's like the best thing ever. Friend groups in rom-coms are seriously the best thing ever. And also the main couple's rivalry was really funny. Charlotte and Callum, they're just constantly one-upping each other and competing with each other. and just like annoying each other like on purpose, and it's so funny. I enjoyed their chemistry and how well they fit together, and also how the rivalry wasn't too over the top, wasn't too much. Callum definitely got on my nerves towards the end of the book, but he made up for it with his confession in the end of the book. Because for half of the book, he was the most annoying person, but he made up for it, so everything's okay. The next book, Ties of Legacy by Melanie Cellier. I gave this book 5 stars. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. You guys might get tired of me saying that, but I just want to let you know, because then you can read it if you have KU. It's cheaper than buying the books. Just saying. Book 1 in the Tethered Heart series, a multi-author standalone series. Avery is a peddler, and she enjoys the ability to travel where she chooses without the inconvenience of being tied to her birth kingdom. Elliot could only wish that he was so lucky as to be tied to a kingdom, but instead he is tied to a candelabra. And when that candelabra is stolen from him, it catapults him on a journey towards Avery, who promises to help him find a way to break his bond to the ridiculous object. I enjoyed this book so much. If you can't tell, I loved it. The unique premise of the legacy, mixed with the humorous situations that Avery and Elliot find themselves in, made for a very enjoyable read. So, if you guys don't know, Melanie Cellier has started a new series, and it is called the Something with a Legacy, Kingdoms of Legacy series. And the legacy is basically, there's like several different kingdoms, and each kingdom has had a different like main fairy tale happen in them. And so the legacy is like the remnants of that fairy tale, and it like manipulates people and causes problems, and it's, yeah, that's the whole legacy thing. This book was so whimsical and funny, and it, while not a directly fairy tale retelling, I really enjoyed it. The humor and wit from the characters absolutely made this story, and I cannot wait to continue the rest of the legacy series. So good. The next book is actually the first book in the legacy series. It is Legacy of Roses by Melanie Cellier. 5 stars on KU. This is book 1. This book takes place in the kingdom where the fairy tale was Beauty and the Beast, and so the echoes of Beauty and the Beast are in the legacy. The legacy is a very dangerous thing and eager to entrap unassuming newcomers. So when Rosalie sees a young man about to pick a rose from the enchanted manor, she can't help but intervene. Dimitri knows very little about the legacy of Glandor, but after Rosalie explains the legacy's propensity for turning handsome young men into beasts, he is properly horrified. But he still can't seem to keep himself away from the beautiful and confusing Rosalie. Will they be able to trick the legacy? And will they be able to resist falling in love in the process? It took me a little while to get into this book, but once I hit my stride, I really couldn't put it down. I started Ties of Legacy, and then I was confused, and so I started this book, and I actually finished this book before I finished Ties of Legacy. So I paused Ties of Legacy to finish it so I could understand like the legacy. It was such a fun new premise, and it was so enjoyable to read something so new and unique. I really loved how it wasn't like the same old Beauty and the Beast stuff. It was really good. Dimitri was so thoughtful and sweet while also protecting her, and I adored Daphne and the triplets. The triplets are Rosalie's brothers, the funniest characters in the whole book. They're so funny. They're hilarious. They added so much lightheartedness to the story, and I definitely recommend this book if you're looking for a fresh new take on Beauty and the Beast, because you will not regret it. The next book is Ties of Starlight by Celeste Baxendell. I gave this book 4 stars. It's on KU. It's book 2 in the Tethered Heart series. I liked it. It was good. It wasn't as good as the other one, but it was good. Idiona only has one more chance to get it right. As a human living in the middle of the Star Elves, her only purpose is to complete the marriage rituals that will ensure that their power continues to grow. King Dameron has been in love with Idiona for years, so when it's discovered that the man she was supposed to marry has jilted her, he does the only sensible thing. He takes his place. There's only one problem. Idiona hates him. But now they have to work together to ensure that the Star Elves do not lose their magic. I read this book in like pretty much one sitting because I just had to know what was going to happen because it was just so unpredictable. There's so many twists and plot turns, and I was like, oh, what the heck is going on? The romance between Idiona and Dameron was clean, and I was never uncomfortable with the amount of romance, even taking into account that they were married for pretty much like the whole book. They're married, which was pretty impressive that there wasn't like questionable content. There were a few passing mentions of witches and their magic, which I didn't care for, and that's why it's only 4 stars. But none of the characters practiced witchcraft, and it was explored. And it wasn't explored further. There were also several mentions of a character being unfaithful to their spouse repeatedly. So there's also that. That's also 4 stars. All in all, it was a clean fantasy read with a very intriguing premise, but not my favorite book in the series so far. I've only read 2 books. Not my favorite book, but okay. The next book is The Cupid Chronicles by Courtney Walsh. Gave this book 5 stars. You guessed it. It's on KU. It's book 2 in the Only Magic in the Building series, and it is about Iris and Mateo. Iris has sworn off love, but when her pesky apartment building keeps delivering her neighbor's newspaper to her, she realizes that avoiding love might not be so easy. Mateo is fed up with the matchmaking newspaper that periodically appears on his doorstep, so when the papers start to get delivered to his neighbor instead, he thinks that it's the perfect solution. Little do Iris and Mateo realize that the Serendipity has very special plans for both of them. This is like my favorite Courtney Walsh book yet. I loved Iris and her open, bubbly personality. She was just the perfect contrast to Mateo's cranky attitude because it was grumpy sunshine. What I liked most about Mateo was that even though he was very rude several times, he always ends up apologizing, even if it's begrudgingly. It was so bittersweet, and I cried. I did cry. This is such a heartfelt story, but it's perfectly balanced with lighthearted humor. I'm put a little trigger warning in my notes for grief and the loss of a loved one off page, and also parental abandonment. Just to let you guys know, what is kind of discussed, the heavier stuff that's discussed in this book. In Search of a Prince by Toni Shiloh. This was a reread, but I gave it 5 stars again. This is about Brielle, and Brielle finds out that she is the crown princess of Oloro Ile, which is an small little African country. Her grandfather is dying and wants to help her establish herself as queen before he dies, but when she arrives, she finds out that the royal council will not accept her role as queen unless she marries. This is pretty much an African Princess Diaries. That's what I wrote down. It's so good. It's so good. This story was just as sweet and heartfelt as I remembered it. The thing I love most about the story is the huge amount of faith content. Each decision the characters make are bracketed by prayer and seeking the Lord, and that's so meaningful to me. I really resonate with the theme of trusting the Lord with our path in life. There is humor, romance, fun friendships, and one of my favorite aspects of this story is the deep dive into African culture. Even though it's a fictional African kingdom, you can tell that the African culture is really well researched. It's really, really cool. This book is clean and closed door. However, there is a fade to black scene between a married couple. There is hardly any lead up, and the narrative stays pure and respectful. This is Christian fiction. It's not a rom-com. One More Song by Annah Conwell. This is 4 stars on KU. I listened to this as an audiobook with my husband. We were on a road trip. We listened to 2 books in this series. The second one and the third one, and we loved both of them. We loved the third one more though. We'll talk about that in a second. This is a second chance romance between Grace and her best friend's brother, who is now a famous country singer. I really love second chance romance. This was not my favorite second chance romance book, mainly because Wyatt, who is the country singer, goes through almost half of this book before he apologizes for things that led to their breakup. And most of it was his fault. And he just goes to half the book trying to think he can win back her affections before he apologizes. And my husband and I were both like, dude, you need to apologize. We were talking to him the whole time we listened. It's apologize. No wonder she's still mad. Yeah, she's still mad because you needed to apologize. But it was really cute in the end. There was some hilarious scenes and some heartfelt storytelling that really won me over. So it was fun, but 4 stars because Wyatt was a little annoying. Okay. Petals and Plot Twists by Jenny Proctor. I gave this 5 stars. Available on KU. Book 3 in the Only Magic in the Building series. Sophie doesn't have a great dating track record, so when she figures out that the mysterious flower blooming in her flower bed only blooms in the presence of true love, she convinces her best friend Peter to help her find her soulmate. But when something unexpected happens, she starts to wonder if Peter is the one she's been looking for all along. Okay, you guys, best friends to lovers is one of my favorite. It's marriage of convenience, and then it's best friends to lovers. They're so close. They're almost interchangeable. I just love them so much. Peter and Sophie were both nerds. because she's like a flower nerd, and then I think he has like some sort of computer job, so he's like a computer nerd. So they're like both nerds, and it was really funny. I really appreciated that they took time to talk to each other before jumping to conclusions. No misunderstandings. That's why I like this book, because I see that so much in rom-coms. It's like, oh, misunderstanding, and then they have a big fight over nothing. It's like, if you would act like adults instead of teenagers, we could solve this. But no, they acted like adults, and I appreciated it. Their friendship was so genuine and morphed into a romantic relationship so naturally and beautifully. That's all. I'm trying to remember. I know the romance content, there's a couple makeouts, and there's lots of attraction. And she definitely notices him, and I don't think he notices her as much as she notices him. The next book is The First Taste by Annah Conwell. This is 5 stars on KU. This is the other audiobook my husband and I listened to on our road trip. This is book 3 in the Sweet Peach series, my second favorite one in the series. Again, it's Best Friends to Lover, and coincidence, the main girl's name is Sophie. So, that's funny. When Sophie's overbearing mother contacts her and demands that she attend the social events of the season with a date, she only has one person to turn to. Bennett, her childhood best friend, has realized that he's in love with Sophie and quickly sees this crisis as a way to ease her into the idea when he volunteers to play her fake boyfriend. Sophie has to decide whether or not to risk her heart and, worse, possibly losing the one person who knows the real her. My husband and I, like I said, we listened to this while we were on a road trip, and if my husband liked it, then it was really, 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 really good, because he's not a reader. This story is the epitome, absolute top tier, best friends to more trope that I've ever read, and is my favorite one, hence why I have a physical copy in my hand. Bennett was so sweet, and he took such good care of Sophie. He was kind and understanding and thoughtful, and all around, he was just an amazing guy. He was just so sweet. I always love watching best friends fall in love like this because of their already close relationship. Because they're already friends. All they have to do is realize that they're not going to lose their friendship if they turn their relationship into a romantic one. That's all. That's all, but that's like the whole book because they're both so stubborn. Plus, the friend group makes up for at least one of these stars all by themselves, because the friend group in this series, I've said this before, best thing ever. Hands down, best thing ever. Now we have come to my favorite book of the whole month of March, One Last Play by Annah Conwell. 5 stars. On KU, this is the final book in the Sweet Peach series, and the only reason I don't have a physical copy yet is because I thought The First Taste was going to be my favorite book in the series, and so I bought it. And then I read this one, and I was like, oh man, I should have bought this one first. From the first time Sebastian saw MJ, he knew she was the woman he would marry. He just didn't count on her being such a hard catch. MJ refuses to fall for the famous football player, but when she learns that her favorite art student is his adopted daughter, her heart begins to soften ever so slightly. I just re-listened to this book the other day because I love it so much, and I just wanted something lighthearted and fun to listen to, and it was just, so good. I still love it. I maybe loved it even more the second time around. I'm so sad that this is the end of this series and these characters, though. This was my most favorite book of March, and it was just so good. I thought that Sophie and Bennett's book would be my favorite, but this one proved me wrong, and Annah Conwell is now one of my favorite authors. I told you guys this already. From the beginning of the series, MJ was one of my favorite characters, and when I realized who she would end up with, I could not read it fast enough. Sebastian was amazing, and the way he respected her boundaries while still pursuing her and showing up for her was the sweetest thing ever. I teared up several times while reading this book, but they were happy tears because of the way he affirmed her and took care of her. Also, her brothers, she has 4 brothers, and they're the best things ever, and Annah Conwell's, the series that comes after this, is about them, and I really need to read it soon because they're hilarious in this book. They're so funny. This is a closed-door novel with 0 swearing or spice. The author includes a content warning in the beginning of this book, highlighting the fact that there are several makeout scenes, as well as the fact that this book deals with grief. Like I said about the perfect putt, I think there's a content warning in almost every book of hers that I've read so far. So I really, really like that. Double Duty Defense by MJ Padgett. I gave this book 4 stars. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. This is a Dating in Denver Dragons novel. It's a multi-author series. I think you can read them in any order. The Denver Darlings star goaltender Greer Morgan is in a rut that's beginning to impact her game. Ever since high school, she's sacrificed love, friendship, and adventure to focus on one thing: soccer. Pause. I didn't write this is the blurb from the back of the book because I didn't know how to explain this book. But life isn't fulfilling when you spend it alone. So her teammates encourage her to find someone to help her liven up her life by dating again. Evander Calloway needs to find his focus. The Denver Dragons are one missed goal away from benching him, but it's hard to focus on the game when your life is going up in flames at every turn, and his ex is the one lighting everything on fire. His teammates force him to go on a blind date, but he doesn't expect the sparks that fly when he meets Greer. Greer discovers that Evander is her date. She almost bails, but decides there's no reason she can't go toe to toe with the world's most obnoxious and narcissistic goaltender for a stupid sport played by a bunch of goons. Their date goes from bad to worse, making front page news before the night is over, and they both vow never to speak to one another again. Except, Greer can't stop thinking about how fighting with Evander is the distraction she needs to loosen up. Evander's focus is back, but it's not on the game. It's on Greer and what it might be like to kiss a darling. This like enemies to lovers, and I have to admit, Greer was kind of mean, and that's why it was 4 stars, because she was just so hateful to him. Vander and Greer had such a meaningful relationship that developed so sweetly and at the same time full of tension once she stopped being mean. I was totally shocked by the plot twist at the end. My favorite thing was how Vander watched out for her, and reading his point of view when he was talking about her was seriously the cutest thing ever. There was lots of kissing in this book. There was lots of kissing. And there were several makeouts that might make some people uncomfortable. I was a little uncomfortable. One makeout is okay, but if there's more than one, I'm just like, okay, this is a little much. This is a little much for me. But it also depends on who's writing it. 4 stars. Greer wasn't my favorite person, but I liked Vander, so he made up all 4 stars pretty much by himself because she really wasn't my favorite. I have Truth Cursed by Angie Dickerson. I gave this 4 stars. This book is about, I didn't write a summary for this book, of course not. This book is about Cressida, and basically her aunts cursed her when she was like 8 years old or something, so that she can only tell the truth and she can't lie. And if she tries to lie, then like the curse like pretty much like tries to kill her. So can't lie. She goes to this ladies' school, like ladies' academy boarding house type thing, and at first it seems normal, and then they realize that they're actually training girls to be spies to infiltrate the kingdom and the palace because there's sketchy stuff going on with the monarchy. That's all. But it was really good. I really, really liked it. Cressida is a character who it's easy to sympathize with, and while her curse does make her life harder, she is very clever at finding ways around it. I thought the plot was very intriguing, and my brain was definitely working overtime trying to figure everything out. Emmerich was my favorite character, and he was amazing. Just this, that's all. That's all you need to know. He was the best. I also really enjoyed the fact that this was a standalone, so there was no pressure to start a new series or have to wait for answers. I highly recommend this book for fans of spies, palace/court intrigue, boarding school vibes, and found family. The Huntress by Carrie Cotton. I gave this book 5 stars. It's on KU. This is book 1 in the Huntress series. This book is about Cyrene, and Cyrene became queen of her people at a very young age. She's given everything to ensure that her people remain protected and safe, hidden away in the forest from the evil Tower King. But when she finds an injured man in the forest, Cyrene chooses mercy and learns to her dismay that she saved the life of the new king of the tower, Duncan. Duncan never wanted to rule, but a plague has left him the only heir. Together, Duncan and Cyrene have to face the lies and dangers that surround their kingdoms, and they must decide to unite or die. This is medieval Christian fantasy and is so good. Oh, it's so good. I love it so much. It's been so long since I've read something with such deep faith content, and I honestly realized that I really, really missed it, especially after reading all these rom-coms. I really missed the deep faith content that this book had. Duncan and Cyrene reminded me of God's great power and how deep his love for us goes. From the Scottish accents and lore to the battle scenes that pulled me deeper into the story, this book took me on a journey and now holds a special place in my heart. Okay, second to last book. Here we go. I listened to The Two Towers to continue my Lord of the Rings reread. I listened to The Two Towers. This is a really cool old edition that I have, and I gave it 5 stars. I don't really have much to say about it. It's just really good. I really love Lord of the Rings. The last book we're talking about today is Falling Through the Black by E.A. Hendricks. I gave this book 5 stars. This is book 2 in the Xeris Galaxy saga, and I can't really say anything about this book because I don't want to give spoilers for book 1. All I can say is I am now anxiously awaiting the arrival of the 3rd book in the series because I need answers, because the plot twist on the cliffhanger at the end of this book, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what the heck? Oh man, this story had everything from a winning, likable hero who's a little too flirty for his own good. He's kind of like reminded me of Flynn Rider a little bit. And a strong yet soft female lead, and a winning side characters who captivated my heart and wouldn't let it go. The breakneck speed of this plot and all the intricate details are so well done. If you love political intrigue, cool tech, and plot twists that will make your jaw drop, this one is for you. Oh man, that's all. I don't have anything else, you guys. That's the extent of that. Was 25 books in March, and I'm never gonna read that many books in a month ever again if I can help it. I've been dreading this video because I'm like, I don't want to talk about all of them. But I'm really hoping that the script that I wrote out didn't sound forced, but it also helped keep me on track. That is all for today, you guys. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that YouTube knows to notify you and helps push my content out. I am posting every other week right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.